evening. 1 p.m. Eastern, Washington football team, 6-10, 3-5 on the road at New York Giants, 4-12, 3-4 at home at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Let's start with the market move here. We have these Washington football team, which will know what their team is on February 2nd, what their team name is, opening up at -6.5. That's where they stand now. Sports Interaction is hanging a 7. This total opened up at 39. It is now down to 38. Slatsy said, heard a rumor Washington football team will rename the Washington Admirals. Huh. Interesting. Okay, let's take a look at if there's any action here that we need to know about cash-wise. 2,383 tickets in, 73% of the tickets on Washington, 97% of the cash. You know, God, it's too big of a spread. You know, take Washington a full time. Maybe it's not, though, because the New York Giants are absolute trash. Let's start with Washington. Washington comes in off their 4th straight loss, 2016 at home to the Eagles, officially eliminated from the playoffs. They were up 16-7 at the half, but were shut out the rest of the way. Heineke was 27-36 for 247 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Terry McLaurin caught 7 passes for 61 yards, no touchdowns. Cam Sims caught 4 passes for 48 yards. With Antonio Gibson out with COVID, Jared Patterson came in, carried the ball 12 times, 57 yards, and a touchdown, and caught 5 passes, 41 yards. He looked good. Their defense played well. They finished with just 1 sack, 3 quarterback hits, but they kept them in the game when the offense was sputtering. They were missing left guard Eric Flowers and punter Tress Way because of COVID-19 protocols. Tight end Ricky Seals-Jones hurt his neck in a collision with a camera operator. It's pretty ugly. He's in concussion protocols. Wide receiver Curtis Samuel, defensive end James Smith-Williams, defensive end Montez Sweat, and quarterback William Jackson were inactive last week, and they're listed as questionable this week. Dennis Garcia says, is there a category the Giants offense doesn't rank last in over the past month? Burgundy Bet says Giants packed it in 2 weeks ago. Only trash came out with Bet and laid the touchdown with Washington football team at home. Giants come in off their 5th straight loss, an abysmal 29-3 setback at Chicago. They put up a season-low 152 yards of offense. Mike Glennon was atrocious. 4 of 11 for 24 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He fumbled 4 times, losing 2 of them. He had a passer rating of 5.3, and he's dealing with a left wrist injury that will require season-ending surgery. So this week will be the highly anticipated Jake Fromm show. The Giants completely abandoned the pass after the first 2 dismal series. Saquon Barkley finished with 21 carries for 102 yards. It was the most for him since 2019. Their defense had 2 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Tate Crowder, James Bradbury had interceptions. That defense has fought hard all year. Defensive tackle Danny Sheldon, offensive tackle Corey Cunningham, wide receiver Dante Pettis, wide receiver Darius Slayton are on the COVID list. Center Billy Price, wide receiver Kadarius Toney. Wide receivers, Kadarius Toney, John Ross, and Colin Johnson were all inactive last week. Listed as questionable this week. Take it away here, Bebsie. Is Washington worth a look?
As much as I want to just completely dismiss this trash game, I think Washington is worth a look. New York Giants have been literally, they've been the worst team in football over the past 5 seasons. Collectively, their record is worse than anyone else's, including the lowly Jags. They might be the worst team in football right now. They're abysmal. They're demoralized. They're not playing. They got absolutely spanked by the Bears last week. Spanked by the Bears last week. I don't think they turn it around this week. And it was mentioned in the chat, but Heineke's playing with some cash incentives. And for a guy who's not making a ton of money at quarterback, I think he comes out and plays hard. And I kind of want to take the football team here.
Yeah, I think it's starting to make sense to back them here. They're coming off 4 straight losses. That they had 4 straight wins coming into that 4-loss losing streak. Heineke's going to be trying. Fromm is absolutely terrible. New Corker says Giants have scored 66 points in their last 7 games. I think this all makes sense. I don't know.
What's the Giants team total too? Because that's been an auto cash lately.
It has been an auto cash. Let's see what Pinnacle is hanging here for these Giants. Here we go. Giants team total is sitting at 14.5. Juice to the under.
What's the juice on that?
Minus 117.
It's not terrible.
I wonder what it is at Bet365. I know it would be worse than that. Let's just take a look. The 14.5 is at minus 125 at Bet365. There's Mr. Gogster in the house. Great to see you, Gogster. Joy Oliver says over on Heineke passing yards. So Burgundy Bet says Heineke needs a win and 60% of the snaps against the Giants during 125K.
I think I'm going to move on the Washington football team here.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Dennis Garcia giving his final score 16-13, but
the Giants are the worst team in football right now.
Yeah. Both New York teams had a win total at 6.5. And the under, my book, was plus 130 for both of them. And I was like, one of them is going to get under 6.5 wins for sure. Now, maybe the Giants get over 6.5 wins with Daniel Jones at quarterback, maybe. But they're both going to cash here.
I thought the Giants had a good draft this year. The day after the draft, I was kind of impressed with what they did. And I think that maybe gave some false hope. But the Giants are still the Giants. And Daniel Jones is still Daniel Jones. He has not progressed one bit since year one.
Well, I get why you'd move on. Oh, it's already at 7.5 at Circa at plus 108. But if you wanted to move on them here, you'd get 6.5.
Let's
6.5
do it.
minus 115 at Pinnacle.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on the football team. And I hope they're wrong in the chat. I hope that they are not going to announce that they're the Washington Admirals, because the Washington football team is way more fun than the Washington Admirals.
Minus 115, right? Did I say that? Washington. Okay, minus 6.5, minus 115. I agree with this look. I think Washington football team, I think Heineke tries. They haven't looked good the last couple of weeks. I think that another game for Jared Patterson to show that he's worthy. I like it. I think this might even be a 00 spot. Okay, let's keep rolling. So Bebsie's on the board with Washington.